everyone. Welcome to the Bowman Chronicles podcast. Today we're coming to you from Paint Bank, Virginia, and I have my friend Cody Murphy with me. Cody is the general manager of Potts Creek Outfitters here in Paint Bank, and we have been on an awesome 2-day turkey hunt. The last 2 days of spring gobbler season in Virginia, and man, what a story we've got to tell you. So I'm going to let Cody kind of start, introduce himself, and tell you a little bit about himself, and then we will go into our hunt, tell you what happened this morning.
Outstanding. Well, Cody Murphy, manager of Potts Creek Outfitters here in Paint Bank, Virginia. We run spring gobbler hunts and bow only, archery only, whitetail hunts in the fall, and offer fly fishing, catch and release fly fishing on Potts Creek as well. A little bit about my background. I worked a career in federal law enforcement. Started out as a park ranger with the National Park Service and promoted up to a district ranger, supervisory ranger, and then switched over to the U.S. Forest Service, law enforcement investigations, where I worked as a forest ranger and a patrol captain, and retired. And now I'm outfitting and guiding fine gentlemen like Mr. Bowman.
We always have a good time, that's for sure. And beautiful place here. Cody, how many acres are here in Virginia and West Virginia?
Roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of 7,500 to 8,000 acres in private ownership, which a lot of the property is surrounded by national forests. So just a tremendous resource, an absolutely beautiful piece of property. We're blessed to have a really nice section of Potts Creek, which we stock the private section for our guests to offer a better fishing experience. But yeah, with just a tremendous piece of property, a lot of variety. You know, some of our hunts are in the valley, which is a farm interface type hunt, you know, with fields and pastures. And then some of our West Virginia property offers a more of a mountain hunting experience, you know, that's a little higher elevation, a little more wooded, you know, and just the typical, you know, mountain hunt that we see in this area of Virginia and West Virginia. But yeah, just a tremendous resource, wonderful piece of property. We manage it for trophy whitetail bucks and try to provide as good habitat, nesting habitat, brooding habitat for our turkeys. So yeah, I would, like we've discussed before, Mark, I'll put our turkey hunting and deer hunting here at Potts Creek Outfitters, you know, up there with anybody in the region.
Oh, I totally agree. Beautiful piece of property, well managed, and you know, it holds some just very nice whitetail and just the turkey population here and the habitat, and it's second to none. I actually 2 years ago killed the biggest whitetail buck I've ever killed with my bow here with you, and it was a very special hunt. I'd actually hunted that deer for about 3 years, and the way we killed it was, you know, you told me I'd been walking in a fire road by Potts Creek each year when I was hunting this deer, and we would see the deer in the field. You would see the deer all the time, and it just seemed like opening week of bow season that he just disappeared every year, and it was just driving me crazy.
Yeah, he did what big bucks do.
yes. So, the way it happened was on the second to last day of my hunt, year before last. Cody suggested. He said, instead of walking in on the fire road and walking down the stream bank to get in the tree stand, he said, why don't I just drive you right across the field? And I'll drive you right across the field. He said, we'll cross the fence and you can go get in the tree stand. That's what we did. And that evening, about 15 minutes before dark, the buck came off the island, crossed Potts Creek right under me, and I killed him at 18 yards.
Yeah.
And that I'm truly convinced that buck for 3 years had laid on that island and watched me walk to that tree stand.
Yeah, I agree. You know, that was, my thought process on it was that deer was bedding fairly close. I don't think that he was going up on the mountain into some of the laurel thickets or rhododendron thickets. I truly believed he was bedding right there in that creek bottom. And he was certainly visible and certainly used to a lot of the farm traffic that we have here. We have as you know, a fully operational farm to include bison and cattle and crops. And, I just thought, well, I had a good idea where the deer was bedding and the approach that you had been taking in the past, which is, wouldn't surprise anybody. It's you're slipping down a creek using the creek noise for cover. But I think that deer was bedded there close and was making you. And so I thought, well, let's just go straight across the field to the fence. And while you were getting in the stand, I was banging around the truck, just like farm vehicles do. And you slipped up into the stand, and lo and behold, we got him the first day we tried that approach. And furthermore, I think that was our first hunt together, was it not?
It was our first hunt together. It sure was.
Well, I'm very proud and pleased to have been a part of that for you to get your best buck with a bow. And that's one of the better bucks that we've killed here at Potts Creek. I think he was in the mid 140s.
He was mid 140 whitetail. And, he was a beautiful 10-pointer, which you'll be able to see him on my Instagram page. He was a beautiful West Virginia 10-pointer. Just had beautiful mass to him. Just a very big, healthy deer. I mean, he was. It was just an awesome hunt. When I shot him at 18 yards, he came up out of the creek, crossed the creek, came up the bank to my right, and he stepped out from behind a big oak tree there, and that's when I let the arrow go, and it was, he may have went 5 yards, and that was it. But it is an awesome hunt, awesome animal, and I just, he's as probably one of my most memorable hunts with my bow, most definitely. So. But great place, man. We've had some good times since too. And,
absolutely.
So let's talk about what happened this morning. Well, we can start with yesterday. Yesterday was a fun hunt too. So let's tell everybody about yesterday first, and then we'll tell you how we got it done this morning.
Certainly. Well, back to the buck that you killed. I can't remember. I'm sure we got a weight on that deer. And I want to say, if memory serves me, it was like 173 dress, something to that effect. I mean, just a very tremendous animal, healthy, just a beautiful buck. But and I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention, that Mark is one of our longtime guests here, and one of my favorite people to have on the property. Is just a hard hunter, ethical and just a hunter that'll will listen to, and can be guided, and that's important in this line of work. If people will listen to your suggestions, obviously we're not perfect. We make mistakes too, but it's always good to have someone who's willing to, follow direction as far as, a game plan and be up for anything. And you certainly always are. And we just always enjoy having you here. And certainly this week has followed suit right along those lines. But yes, yesterday we went into a spot that took a little effort to get in there. It's just an excellent spot, a big ridge a saddle type ridge in an area that we traditionally do have a lot of turkeys. And I knew these birds were in there. So we got in there real early, got set up. Set up was somewhat open. We didn't have a lot of cover, which, you can't always have it perfect, and long story short, we called these turkeys in, and in the close range, I would say 60 to 80 yards at most. We were ready. I thought we were going to get it done then, and as luck would have it, a hen out front made us and busted us and took to flight, and of course the gobblers disappeared. So, and we really hit it hard yesterday. We did we covered a lot of ground and. Run and gun style hunting, I think we probably did, 6-7 miles yesterday.
Yeah, every bit of it.
So,
it was, we heard probably 6 birds on the roost around us, anywhere from, probably 400 or 500 yards on into 100 yards. It was a great spot to be in. And we just didn't get it done because the old looker hen, she outsmarted us. But, she was in our lap. And, that's all you can ask for. I mean, that is the excitement of spring gobbler hunting. And, you and I, when we got in the truck and we were talking, there's a lot of looker hens that have kept a lot of gobblers alive. And That's she kept that gobbler alive. She sure did. So, but it was a great hunt, wonderful morning. And so we came back and kind of regrouped and had a little dinner last night. Cody's lovely wife came over and joined my wife Martha and I we're at a new house here on Potts Creek's property. It's called the Lemon Slice. It's right next to the Lemon Hotel. And man, I tell you, what a very nice menu here. Wow. It's just beautiful. I mean, just very well done, very well decorated, not definitely not your typical hunting cabin. So, but just a beautiful place. But, so we got a new game plan together last night and then we went back this morning. So tell everybody what happened this morning.
Well, along the same lines of that hunt with the deer that you killed, thinking outside the box, the typical scenario. Sometimes we get locked into, we all think we got to be out there way before daylight and catch them off the roost. And Mark, you and I discussed, we've had a lot of success in late morning. And so we elected this morning to go in around 7 o'clock, a little after. This particular location, they just set up perfect for that type of hunt. We've had a lot of success this year late morning. To be quite honest, these birds they're henned up, and typically unless you're right underneath them or can you always can get lucky, and we have all hunted turkeys off a roost and have them come in, but more often than not, they get with hens and they don't come in to the call as good. And then what we see is in like so many locations, those hens will get separated from those gobblers late in the morning, whether they just feeding and the natural way things shake out, they get separated from the gobblers or they go to nest. And so we decided last night, we put in a hard day yesterday and it's been a long season and was like, we're going to get some rest in the morning, get a bite to eat and go in a little later. And that's what we did. And we set up in a blind over an old cut cornfield that was a cornfield last year. There's no corn left in it. Obviously, it's just a fallow fields they're going to plant again this year. But anyway, we had a blind set up in the rear corner. We had a little rain in the area, so we elected just to get in the blind and put out a couple of decoys and just do some periodic calling. And lo and behold, maybe 30 minutes into it, if that, we're calling pretty aggressive. I looked up and I see this big tom come soaring in. He actually flew from across the creek and a road on a ridge. I'm convinced he was, heard our calls, and he just come gliding in there and hit the ground and vanished into the woods along the field edge there.
Sure did.
And we worked him. Never made a sound, never gobbled, never heard this turkey gobble. When we first started calling, and once he landed, in close proximity to us, he just stayed silent. And it goes back to knowing the area, knowing the spot you're hunting. I knew there was a bench, like a shelf-type flat ridge above this field that they strut in. Always a lot of feeding sign in that area. And so we gave it a good sit in the blind, thought he may work his way up along the edge of the field to our decoys. And I would say we're probably a good hour and a half or longer. They're just periodically calling and no luck, no action, no gobbles, no nothing. And rather than give it up, we elected to ease our way up onto this ridge where I thought he might be. And our approach, it's kind of open woods. It's kind of a tough spot, but we kind of hugged an edge of this ridge using the contour of the land as cover. And it also serves as another, when we get up there, I was hoping we could call and work in two different directions and maybe strike a bird. And lo and behold, the first stop that we made once we got into this area I wanted to be in, I hit the call pretty loud and he gobbled I don't know, 60 yards out of that.
He was right on top of it.
And it was like, right there. I told Mark, just get to this tree right here. And I actually had a turkey fan with me, a technique I've been using some, and with some good results. And basically it wasn't, we didn't even have an opportunity to get set up. Mark took a knee behind a big white oak there that was forked.
Yeah.
And just had the gun barrel through the forks of the trees, and I got down behind you and never touched the call. And he comes up over the ridge and strut, and I had this fan, and I just held it up in the air a little bit, elevated a little bit, twisted it around a little bit, and he came out of strut and came towards us. And
he did. He was ready to fight.
Yeah. And you sealed the deal, and I think 46 yards?
46 yards.
Something like that. It was a good shot, and just a heck of a hunt, very memorable hunt, one of the best ones we've had this year. Just the way it shook out and using the fan, and
it was awesome. And the fan, I'll tell you that's my first experience with using a Gobbler fan.
Yep.
It's a true fan from a Gobbler, all natural. And so I had my Benelli Super Black Eagle 2 with me. And I was using the Winchester Longbeard 3.5 inch Magnum shells, number 5 shot. And I tell you, we thumped him from 46 yards.
Yeah.
So I told Cody, I said, I didn't do anything, really pull the trigger and hold it on his head. But he, it was, what a great hunt. Everything just turned out just perfect that could have happened in that scenario. Because I will admit, I'm 54, getting a little old. Whenever I hit my knees there and bent down behind that tree, I was like, oh, I hope this happens fast. Because I don't want to be able to get in this position for long.
Yeah. A little luck never hurts. We certainly had some luck on our side, but knowledge of the area and a good approach, and we did a lot of things right that panned out for us, and we had a little luck on our side too. So just a awesome morning of turkey hunting, late season. I've told you I like the early season and I like late season. That mid part of the season is always kind of tough, but some of the bigger birds that I've killed or been a part of getting has been in late season. I like this time of year.
I love to hunt late season also. Like you and I were talking, a little bit harder hunting.
Mm-hmm.
The birds aren't, they're not answering like they do in early season.
Yeah, they're nowhere near as vocal as they are early season.
It's, the cover, everything's starting to green up. So you've really, really, really got to watch what you're doing. And you gotta be quiet, and you gotta, it's hard hunting, but we couldn't have asked for a more perfect scenario than that. You called it right. We got out of the blind. We walked up the right edge of that ridge. And as soon as we got up in there, I was like, man, this is turkey territory right here. They love those flat top, to strut on. And, when he gobbled, I will tell you this, the hair just stood up on my neck. That's a feeling. If you're not a turkey hunter, you don't know what we're talking about. But man, that was awesome.
And for those out there that turkey hunt will understand, this particular bench ridge or flat ridge is just a perfect spot late morning. Again, those toms, if they get separated from hens, they'll get up on these ridges and strut and gobble, even though he wasn't gobbling, and try to pull those hens into him. So I just figured, and there was a lot of feed sign in there. We saw a lot of scratching, a lot of turkey sign in there, and it's just a good spot. And we pulled it off, and
it was awesome. He's in the freezer.
22 pounds.
22 pounds. He had probably, his spurs were a good inch and, probably an inch and a quarter, somewhere in there. Just a good, pretty mountain bird.
Yeah.
Just beautiful beard on him, big old paintbrush beard. Man, he's going to be, I'm going to put him on the wall in our new barn dominium that Martha and I are doing at Little Sink Creek Farm. And, so I can't wait. So
awesome.
Todd Godsey at Bigfoot Taxidermist is going to to do my taxidermy on him. Todd's a good guy. Todd he does a lot of mounts for me, and you actually use Todd
Yes,
for your son's turkey mount.
Yep, my son Zane, his first long beard that he was able to kill on his own, hunting alone. We got it down in northwest North Carolina, and Todd mounted that bird for him and did a real good job. So we're very pleased with it.
He does. He freeze dries all of his heads, and Todd's an avid hunter. Also, I actually just Cody and I called him as soon as we got the bird back here and got it checked in and everything. He told us how he wanted it wrapped and all that. And Cody always does a great job with all the taking care of the game after the kill. And so it was just a great morning. So, but Cody, tell us a little bit about, you were federal law enforcement agent of the Forest Service, guy, pretty much Federal Game Warden.
Yep.
And I know you had some interesting things that you did with that. I know you can't tell it all, but I know tell us a little bit about your career in that.
Well, I was blessed to have a good career with like I said, with both the National Park Service and the U.S. Forest Service. My father, John Murphy, was a park ranger and a district ranger with the National Park Service, and he was actually a Harry Yount Award winner, which is awarded for the top ranger in the country. So there was a history there, and his good friend and a lifelong friend of mine was also a park ranger. But I started out with them in their maintenance division, mowing and weed eating and picking up trash, and then got a wildlife technician position at Great Smoky Mountains National Park very early in my career as a seasonal appointment. I was a member of the wild hog eradication team at Great Smoky Mountains National Park, where we actually hunted and trapped wild boar, which were an exotic species to the park and detrimental to the native wildlife. So I spent 5 seasons, 3 of which I was doing seasonal law enforcement in the summer, and then hunting and trapping wild boar, in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, very rugged, 500,000 acre, just some big mountains, big country, and very, very interesting position. In my early 20s, I'm hunting and trapping wild hogs in a national park where no one else can hunt. And, really honed my woodsman skills. I was fortunate to grow up with grandfather and father that had me in the outdoors, and so I did that, and then got on permanent full-time law enforcement, and worked came back to the Smokies as a backcountry ranger, and actually left there, went to Alaska, worked at Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve as a district ranger, a supervisor up there. Shenandoah National Park as a South District Ranger, and then went on to the Forest Service as a patrol captain. And on the Mark Twain National Forest in Missouri, I had the Mark Twain and the Shawnee National Forest. So, lots of good stories. And, ended up my career here in West Virginia on the Monongahela National Forest, and retired in October of last year. And just a wonderful career, lots of stories. I don't even know where to begin, telling those stories, everything from flying in helicopters, doing eradication, anti-drug work, did several details down on the border. Some of the best time of my career, I was on a tactical tracking team, which is essentially a woodland SWAT team there in the Smokies. And we did a lot of really good training and had a lot of really interesting calls and details. We started out more as a poaching, like for the black gallbladder, the black bear thing in the park, ginseng and things of that nature. But we kind of developed into more of a tactical team, a woodland SWAT team, and did a lot of training with other agencies, ATF, North Carolina Highway Patrol, FBI, and the list goes on and on. But I'm just blessed to have a very good career. I enjoyed every minute of it, but I'm enjoying retirement now as well.
I'm glad you retired. So we've, Cody and I, ever since he's been here at Potts Creek, I've been coming, my wife and I have been coming here for years, and, I've enjoyed a lot of great times here, Thanksgivings, Christmases, we've every now and then, we used to come for Thanksgiving quite a bit. And, But it's just a phenomenal place, man. I mean, just gorgeous, and to come here and experience, the hunting and fishing piece of it. Of course, my wife, she goes with me every now and then, but, she loves to come here and she reads and she sits by the stream and just relaxes. And, we've got 4 teenagers. So, we like to get away every now and then. And that's what this weekend was. And, I really appreciate you setting it up and man, wow, what a hunt this morning, or the past 2 days. I mean, it's always great, they're just, but, tell everyone how to get in touch with you. And, if you want to book a hunt here, I promise you, folks, you're not going to be disappointed from, the hunting and fishing aspect, but also the accommodations. And my wife and we've got reservations tonight at the Lemon Slice or the Lemon Hotel here. We're staying in the Lemon Slice house, but my wife's having filet, and I'm going to have the trout almondine, and we're just looking forward to it. I mean, everybody has been so accommodating. It's just, it's been a great few days here. And so just let everybody know, how to get in touch with you and what, I know the hunt's book up quick, folks, it is, during deer season, it's bow only. It's archery only. We've had the likes of Bow Hunter Magazine hunt the property. Been a lot of great hunters that have hunted this property, great bow hunters. Yep.
And that's one of the reasons we've got, the caliber of bucks that we do is the archery only. It's a tougher hunt. And the question you get a lot is, on success rates, and that's hard to put on a archery hunt. We deal more in opportunity, and I can assure you that we've got numerous bucks here in the 140 range, and I would not be surprised at all. In fact, I know we've got some in the 160 range.
Oh, 100%. I promise you that they are here.
And, we can cater to your hunt to whatever you want to do. I mean, if you want to hunt hard, stay in the stand all day, we'll make that happen. Our turkey hunts, we do semi-guided hunting, which, the semi-guided hunt package pricing includes your lodging at the Depot Lodge, 2 meals a day at the Swinging Bridge Restaurant, transportation to and from your hunting area, taking care of your game if you're successful. But we customize, and like we do for you, we can do about anything. We can upgrade the lodging venues. We can do fully guided. We don't do a lot of fully guided hunts with our deer hunts. But we can, if we got a youth or a first time hunter, we've got everything from some very nice, sturdy, large platform ladder stands. Last year we put in 4 new redneck blinds that are just first class, and we're going to get a couple more of those this year, try to replace all of our old box blinds. But, everything from pop-up blinds to redneck blinds that are elevated, blinds on the ground, ladder stands. We can do about anything to accommodate. If you got a group and you don't want to stay at the lodge, which is very nice, but it's more of a hotel style. You got your own room, your own bathroom, a little common area, like where you can have your continental style breakfast and bring your food back and eat there. Right. But like, for example, you and some of your guys, we got other venues, cabins, houses that have full kitchens where you can cook, some that are separated, a little off to themselves if you want a little more privacy and seclusion. And then, to like what you guys are doing, the Swinging Bridge Restaurant, country style restaurant, very good. It's typically where we go, but the owner has the Lemon Hotel, which is a little more of a fine dining experience and more elegant lodging. And yes, indeed. And so, I don't know, we may be one of the only places that has fine dining and high-end, elegant hotel-style lodging and guys in camo coming in out of there. So, and we get some eyebrows raised, but it works. And
people going by was like, "Who's the redneck in the camo coming out of that Lemon Hotel?" Oh, that's Mark Bowman.
But yeah, we to get in touch with us, we've got a website, Potts Creek Outfitters. Just look us up online. phone number here, and you can look us up as well, Paint Bank, Virginia, Potts Creek Outfitters, but 540-897-5500 is our office number. Just call, leave me a voicemail. We can discuss your hunt if you want to come join us. Again, we like to deal. We don't deal so much in quantity. We want a quality hunt. I'm not under a lot of pressure to just stack hunters in here. We're not going to do that. We want to have a quality experience versus a lot of experiences. So the hunts do book up rather quickly. So if you're interested, just reach out to me, and like I said, I can customize it any way. Our website, we advertise a 3-day archery hunt, which is 4 nights of lodging. So that way, your last day of the hunt, you get some rest that night and check out and leave the next day. We also do 6-day hunts. So 3-day and 6-day hunts for turkey and for deer. But I'll customize that to whatever the individual needs, and if they just want to hunt a couple of days, and just like you this week, or if you want to hunt 10, we'll make it happen. And we try to work with folks. And, one of my objectives is just like with your situation, if I can have the same folks coming back every year for a particular date range, that speaks volumes of our operation. And so that's where we're at. And, if we've got a slot open, we'll put you in it. And what we usually find is somebody gets a slot, they keep it, and they come back every year. So reach out to us. We'll get you hooked up. We also offer fly fishing packages on Potts Creek. We're going to be doing some more river trips. We do some float trips, but the turkey hunting, the deer hunting, and the fly fishing here on the creek are our primary. But we're going to do some more float trips on the Greenbrier River, or possibly the New River, or certainly the New River for smallmouth. And we just want to make sure that we're able to provide a quality experience and on that front as well. But just give us a shout. PottsCreekOutfitters.com. Email is pco@PottsCreekOutfitters.com. And we're on Instagram and Facebook as well. And again, phone number 540-897-5500 or 5500.
If you check out their website and their Instagram, Facebook pages, you'll see 2 smiling gentlemen on there with a nice gobbler too from today. So, well, folks, that's going to wrap it up for today. We appreciate you being with us, and please give Cody a call. I'm telling you won't be disappointed to come book a hunt with him. He's so much fun to hunt with, as his guides are here. You're not going to be disappointed from that aspect, or the accommodations and food, and but thank you all for being here, and I'll be back here at Potts Creek maybe a couple more times this year. Definitely, I always come for opening week of bow season. So we'll be coming back to you live here during that time, and maybe sometime in June we get a little spring squirrel season in Virginia now. So we might never know. We might have to come over and kill them as squirrels, cook them up. So thank you all for being with us, and I'm Mark Bowman, and with my friend Cody Murphy. Goodbye to everyone, and you are listening to the Bowman Chronicles podcast, and we will talk to you next time.
Thank you, Mark. It was a joy having you.
Thanks, brother. Folks, you can find me on my Instagram page at the Bowman Chronicles, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.